in the mitochondria, that means mitochondria are double membrane bound structures. So no need to mark this one. Okay, so inner membrane have infolding in it. Do you see that? Inner membrane have infolding in it. Can you see that or not? Finger-like projections. Can you see the infolding of inner membrane? The finger-like projections.
Yes, sir.
So the inner membrane have infolding or plate-like structure or finger-like structures, that is cristae. So this is also the information you get from the structure itself. So inside inner membrane, you can see a small pin-like structures. Can you see that one? Which is known as oxygens. So this oxygens is known as functional unit of mitochondria. So oxygens contain head, stalk, and base, and inside in head, oxygen have enzyme known as ATPs or simply ATP synthesis, which simply synthesize ATP during cellular respirations. Okay, so this is about oxygens. So simply you can see that mitochondria are maybe spherical or maybe oval or maybe in rod shape. Most of the cases we found rod type of mitochondria. That is the same. And simply mitochondria is the largest cell organelles of animal cell and it is the second largest cell organelles of plant cell. So it is the second largest cell organelles of plant cell and is the largest cell organelles of animal cell. Did you see DNA inside it? Do you see RNA?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
70% of total enzyme found in cell are located in mitochondrial matrix. That means mitochondrial matrix have DNA, RNA, and enzymes. Am I clear? Is here is the mitochondria में के हुने रहेछ DNA, RNA र enzymes हुँदो रहेछ कुरो बुझ्नुभयो that is why simply mitochondria is known as the cell organelles which contains largest number of enzymes in it. So this is the short descriptions of mitochondria. So what do you know about mitochondria? Mitochondria is powerhouse of cell. Because do you know the reason why? Do you know the reason why?
No, sir.
It's synthetic ATP.
Okay, it synthesizes energy molecules which is known as ATP. So ATP are known as a currency of sun. They are simply known as currency of sun. Because at the cost of ATP, our cellular activities are going on. So this is known as cellular currency or currency of cell. Simply mitochondria is the organelles which synthesize ATP. So they are double membrane bound structure. Double membrane bound structure. Simply generally oval or simply rounded or in rod shape. Simply they have outer and inner membrane. Inner membrane have infolding known as what? Christy. So then Christy is known as simply structural unit of mitochondria. Christy is known as structural unit of mitochondria. So, and oxysomes are embedded in inner membrane of mitochondria. They have simply head, stop, and base. Here I have ATPase enzyme which synthesize ATP molecules. And simply oxysomes are known as functional unit of mitochondria. So mitochondria are semi-autonomous, DNA containing, self-replicating cell organelles. So what do you understand by semi-autonomous? So simply they perform their half functions by their own, and simply remaining half will be guided by the informations from nucleus. That kind of cell organelles are known as semi-autonomous organelles because they can have DNA inside them, they can self-replicate, half of the functions are performed by themselves, and remaining half simply is controlled by the information from nucleus. So this type of cell organelles are known as semi-autonomous organelles. So plastid and mitochondria are known as semi-autonomous organelles, and simply they have 70S type of ribosome with them. 70S type of ribosome is found in prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? Can you tell me?
Prokaryotic cells.
So that means mitochondria have bacterial origin. Can I say like that? Mitochondria have simply bacterial origin. So how? Because they have infolding, like bacterial cell also have infolding, which is known as mesosomes. Am I right? Am I right or no? Bacterial cell have infolding in their cell membrane, which is known as mesosomes. And they also have infolding, which is known as cristae. And the DNA found in prokaryotic cell is circular. And even the DNA found in mitochondria is circular. And another thing is the ribosome, which is found inside mitochondria, is circular. And the DNA also found in prokaryotic cells or bacterial cell is circular. And the last point is simply bacterial cell undergoes cell division by the process of mitosis. And again, here in this case, mitochondria is simply have cell division, which is also the mitosis. That means these four evidence tells us that mitochondria is prokaryotic cells which simply remain as endosymbiotic inside eukaryotic cells. हेर्नुस् त त्यो भनेको मिनिङ चाहिँ के रहेछ त एउटा युक्यारियोटिक सेल भित्र एउटा चाहिँ प्रोक्यारियोटिक सेल आएर बसेको जस्तो चाहिँ इन्डोसिम्बायोटेन्ट भनेको मिनिङ चाहिँ त्यो रहेछ बुझ्नुभयो पुरा बुझ्नुभयो किन
Yes,
ल यदि कुरा चाहिँ तपाईको चाहिँ बुझ्नु पर्ने हुन्छ लेट्स गो थ्रु द स्लाइड ओके simply we simply start mitochondria. So I told you that mitochondria is simply discovered by simply co-liquor. Simply co-liquor. Okay, so mitochondria is discovered by co-liquor. And another scientist who simply termed mitochondria is Benda. Benda is another scientist who simply termed the term mitochondria. And there is another scientist whose name is Altman. He simply named the mitochondria as bioplast. So bioplast is the another name for mitochondria. So keep this in your mind. That is simply coined by the scientist named as Altman. Co-liquor first time discovered mitochondria. Benda simply termed mitochondria, and Altman is the another scientist who simply called mitochondria as a bioplast. Okay, so keep this in your mind. So I already mentioned in your slide PDF, we have this kind of informations. No need to worry about. Okay, so mitochondria may be cylindrical, may be globular in nature. That means it may be rod in shape or circular or oval in shape. So it is also known as powerhouse of cell because simply huge amount of energy is liberated in the form of ATP. We already know about this. So during aerobic respiration, so what do you understand by aerobic and anaerobic respiration? Can anyone tell me what is aerobic respirations and what is anaerobic respirations? So simply I tell this. Simply this is aerobic respirations. And this is
The
anaerobic
respiration
respiration.
occurs.
So what is the difference between anaerobic respirations and anaerobic respirations? This is upper one is aerobic respirations and the lower one is anaerobic respirations. Can you simply say what is the difference between them?
aerobic respiration is done when the presence of oxygen is there.
Okay, so aerobic respirations takes place in presence of oxygens. So aerobic respirations occurs in mitochondria. So easily aerobic respirations occurs in mitochondria, no doubt. So anaerobic respiration takes in absence of oxygen. It takes place in cytoplasm. So hope you know about cytoplasm and mitochondria. Okay, so aerobic respirations takes place generally inside mitochondria, where large amount of energy is released in the form of ATP molecules. And simply we have mitochondria is double membrane bound structures, and simply outer membrane is smooth and inner membrane is simply possessed with finger-like projections or plate-like projections known as cristae. So this cristae increases the surface area for what? Surface area for respirations. So keep that in your mind. So cristae simply increase the surface area for respirations. So the finger-like projections is known as cristae, as we already mentioned about this. Okay, matrix inside the inner membrane is known as mitochondrial matrix, or we can simply say that the content, mitochondrial content, which lies inside inner membrane of mitochondria is known as mitochondrial matrix. It includes DNA, RNA, several enzymes. Even I told you that 70% of total enzymes are found in simply mitochondria. That means 70% of total enzymes which are found in cell are located inside mitochondria. र के बुझ्नु पर्यो त तपाईले 70% जुन छ सेलमा हुने चाहिँ इन्जाइमहरु जुन छ तिनीहरु चाहिँ के रहेछ त माइटोकन्ड्रिया भित्र लोकेटेड हुन्छ। अब यसबाट के बुझ्नुहुन्छ तपाईले माइटोकन्ड्रिया इज
powerhouse of cell.
okay, simply mitochondria is the cell organelles in which large number of simply many enzymes are located inside them. So which cell organelles have highest number of enzyme inside them? One type of questions are I hope you can easily make out the difference. Which one? Mitochondria. Okay. So on the inner layer of Christie are found small stop particles known as elementary particles or oxysomes. So oxysomes have three things in them. Simply that is base, stop, and head. So in head we found simply what enzyme? ATPase enzyme. This enzyme help in the synthesis of ATP molecules. So that is why oxysomes is known as functional unit of mitochondria. Can you get my points? Why oxysomes is known as functional unit of mitochondria? Simply, they have simply ATPase inside head, and these enzymes facilitate to synthesize ATP. That is why they are known as functional unit of mitochondria. And the structural unit is simply Christie. Keep in that mind. Structural unit, Christie, that increases the surface area for respiration. Functional unit is oxysomes, which simply help in the synthesis of ATP molecules. Okay. So the head part, it produces ATP and it can catalyze the formations of ATP from ADP. That is ATP. Do you know the abbreviations of ATP? Full form of ATP. Do you know that? Adenosine triphosphate.
Triphosphate.
So this is the full form of simply ATP. So adenosine triphosphate is the full form of ATP. So adenosine diphosphate will be changed into ATP. ADP is diphosphate. With the addition of inorganic phosphate, ATP will produce by the help of the enzyme ATPase, or we can simply say that phosphorylase is the enzyme which simply converts ADP to ATP. Okay. Simply just remember ATP is produced by the help of head, and which is also known as functional unit, or simply you can say F1 particles. It is also known as F1 particles. It is also known as F1 particles, and base is known as F0 particles. And the base hold the stop, and simply head simply synthesize ATP. Okay, so mitochondria is the centers of respiration activities and contain the several types of enzyme, as I already mentioned you about that, and they are self-replicating. I told you about this. They have DNA content. They are semi-autonomous organelles. So this is all about the mitochondria. So you need to remember mitochondria is powerhouse of cell, double membrane bound structure, semi-autonomous self-replicating, and DNA containing cell organelles, and simply they are the site for cellular respirations. Which respiration? Aerobic respirations. Mitochondria is the site for cellular respirations, and that is especially aerobic respirations. And simply during aerobic respiration, ATP is produced, and ATP molecules is known as energy molecules or cellular currency or currency of cell. Simply, and inner membrane have finger-like projections or simply known as cristae, and the cristae is known as structural unit of mitochondria. So in cristae you will find the stock materials or stock particles which is known as oxysomes, and oxysomes have three parts in it, that is stock, base and head, and simply head synthesize ATP, and that is why oxysomes is known as functional unit. So remember that Krebs cycle occurs in mitochondria. Simply remember Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is ATP synthesis cycle, which is developed by Krebs. It is name of scientist who simply find the cycle of ATP synthesis, and he named the cycle as Krebs cycle. And simply Krebs cycle occurs inside mitochondria. And all the enzymes of Krebs cycles are present inside mitochondrial matrix except one. Except one. Can you find that one for me, please? तपाईँको लागि homework भयो भोलिको. All the enzymes of Krebs cycles are found in matrix of mitochondria, but only one enzyme is found in inner membrane of mitochondria. Can you find that one for me as a homework? To entrance my exam.
Yes,
So
Please read the question.
Okay. सबै इन्जाइमहरु जुन छ क्रेब्स साइक्लोमा पाउने सबै इन्जाइमहरु कहाँ पाउँदो रहेछ त? They are found in inside the matrix of mitochondria. That means inside inner membrane को जुन mitochondrial inner membrane भित्र पाउने सबै कुरालाई हामी म्याट्रिक्स भन्दो रहेछौं. त्यो म्याट्रिक्समा पाइदो रहेछ. एउटा मात्रै चाहिँ के रहेछ त? इनर मेम्ब्रेनमा पाइदो रहेछ. त्यो इन्जाइमको नाम के हो पत्ता लगाउन सक्नुहुन्छ? तपाईको लागि होमवर्क भयो र यो धरानमा धेरै चोटी सोधेको र नीट जुन चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ सीबीएसई बोर्डले चाहिँ एमबीबीएस को लागि चाहिँ दिने एक्जामहरुमा सोधेको क्वेशन्स मध्येको एउटा क्वेशन्स पनि त्यो हो. सो पत्ता लगाउन आउन सक्नुहुन्छ भोलिको क्लासमा? Can you do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much. So this is all about mitochondria. Do you have any queries regarding this slide? Anyone? Any queries? Okay, that means I can ask any questions from this slide to anyone. Am I right or wrong? त्यही बुझ्ने हो मैले? Okay, let's move to the functions of mitochondria. Okay, can you tell me the functions of mitochondria? What is the functions of mitochondria? Okay, म बोलिरहेको छु तपाईं हेरिरहनु भएको छ सबै एक्टिभिटीज चाहिँ के गरिरहेछ भन्दाखेरि एटीपी ले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ प्रोड्युस भइरहेछ भन्ने कुरा भइरहेछ. सो अब के भन्नुहुन्छ? व्हाट इज द
Excuse me,
मेन?
sir.
हजुर भन्नुस् त.
Sir, त्यो सेमी अटोनोमस को हजुरले भन्दै सुन्थ्यो नि त्यति बेला नेटै कस्तो भइरहेको थियो एकचोटी फेरि भन्दिछ न.
Okay, semi-autonomous means semi means half, right? Semi-final, you know that. Quarter-final, semi-final. Semi means half. Okay, that means half simply part of activities are done by themselves. जति पनि छ आदि काम आफैले गर्दो रहेछ माइटोकन्ड्रियाले. जस्तै डीएनए बाट प्रोटिन सिन्थेसिस गर्ने, त्यसपछि आफूलाई माइटोसिस सेल डिभिजनबाट डिभाइड गर्ने सबै काम के गर्दो रहेछ? आफैले गर्दो रहेछ आदि काम चाहिँ. र आदि कामको लागि चाहिँ कोसँग डिपेन्ड हुँदो रहेछ त? न्यूक्लियस भित्र त जेनेटिक मेटेरियल्स हुन्छ, हो के हैन? त्यो न्यूक्लियस भित्र भएको जेनेटिक मेटेरियल्समा डिपेन्ड गर्दा आदि काम आफैले गर्ने भो र आदि काम चाहिँ कोसँग डिपेन्ड हुने भो? द इन्फर्मेसन फ्रम न्यूक्लियस. त्यसले गर्दा न्यूक्लियसलाई चाहिँ हामी अटोनोमस कम्पोनेन्ट भन्छौं. आफ्नो काम सबै आफैले गर्छ. तर के रहेछ त भन्दाखेरि माइटोकन्ड्रिया चाहिँ के रहेछ त भन्दाखेरि आदि काम चाहिँ आफूले गर्दो रहेछ र आदि कामको लागि कसको इन्फर्मेसनमा डिपेन्ड हुँदो रहेछ त न्युक्लियसको इन्फर्मेसनमा डिपेन्ड हुँदो रहेछ एम आई क्लियर टु यु
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay so can you tell me the functions of mitochondria now
Mitochondria release energy during respiration.
very good and next point
It helps in formation of yolk during ovum formation.
okay it help in ovum formations it help in vitellogenesis okay so anything else can you see my screen the functions about mitochondria
Yes, sir.
so they are known as simply power of the cell I don't have to explain about this so intermediate products of cell respirations are used in the formations of steroids cytochromes and chlorophyll that means during तपाईँलाई थाहा छ रेस्पिरेसनमा के हुन्छ this happens in during respiration suppose this is cell this is mitochondria suppose this is my rough mitochondria no need to worry about okay so glucose entered inside cell through blood streamline so glucose will be break down into pyruvic acid and this pyruvic acid simply enters inside mitochondria and here Krebs cycle occurs Krebs cycle is simply cycles which is discovered by the scientist Krebs and this tells us about how it is generated inside mitochondria so simply during this biochemical reaction so many chemical compounds are formed these chemical compounds are utilized for the next purpose for example for the formations of steroids you know about steroids hormones cytochromes they are iron containing electron carrier compound or electron carrier protein complex you know about chlorophyll you know about chlorophyll
Excuse me,
It is the
sir.
hormone. हजुर
हजुरको साउन्ड नै कस्तो अड्केर आइरहेछ केही बुझेन.
सबैको त्यस्तो-
Yes, sir.
सबैमा त्यस्तो भयो
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
sir.
सुनिरहेको छ नि?
छैन सर.
अहिले सुनिरहेको छैन?
सुनिरहेको छ.
No.
अहिले सुनिरहनु भएको छ हेर्नुहोस् त
सर
छैन
हजुरको
सर.
भोइस नै के सब अड्किरहेको थियो.
अहिले सुनेको छ कि छैन
छैन सर
अहिले
क्लियर
नि
छ
so now can you hear my voice
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
देख्नु भएको छ कि छैन
देखिरहेछ सर
So this is due to I'm through data. That is why I don't have listed right now. So simply let's go through the functions. Okay, if you have any problem, intermediate products, and simply these are also the of. So do you know about amino acid?
त्यो सामने आएको छैन सर आवाज नै बुझेको छैन तपाईको
So सुनिरहनु भएको छ अहिले?
यस सर
Yes, sir.
So let's simply what ठाउँमै सर्नुपर्ने स्थिति आयो है अहिले सुनिरहनु भएको छ नि सबले?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. ल स्क्रिन देख्नु भएको छ?
Ajur, sir.
यस सर
No. Let's finish this one and we'll go through attendance. Okay. Simply, they are the site for of amino acid synthesis, generally glycine, is synthesized by mitochondria, and the calcium ion concentrations inside cell are also controlled by mitochondria, and they are the site of thermogenesis. तपाईलाई ज्वरो आउँदाखेरि चाहिँ हिट बढ्छ कि बढ्दैन बडीको? बढ्छ? बढ्छ ज्वरो आउँदाखेरि?
Yes, sir.
यस
Yes, sir.
Thermogenesis means heat production गर्ने चाहिँ के रहेछ त? Site रहेछ because they produce ATP and simply they help in egg formation and yolk formations. So that is vitalogenesis. In this process, Golgi bodies and mitochondria are equally included inside that. So mitochondria of spermatids form navigran middle piece of sperm during spermiogenesis. Simply they help in spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis means formations of sperm, and simply mitochondria help in the formation of middle part of sperm, which is known as navigran. Okay, navigran, and simply mitochondria release energy during respirations, and mitochondria contain electron transport system. Simply electron transport system is controlled by cytochrome complex. They are the electron carrier molecules. Simply point during your explanation. So question will be asked like explain the structures and functions of mitochondria. 5 marks questions will be asked. So you need to explain the structure. You need to draw well-level diagram, and even you have to or you need to mention the functions of mitochondria as well. So these questions will be asked carrying 8 marks, sorry, 5 marks questions weightage. Okay. So this is all about mitochondria. So remember, double membrane bound structures, simply double membrane bound structures, semi-autonomous. Why they are known as semi-autonomous cell organelles? Why they are known as semi-autonomous? Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me why they are considered as semi-autonomous organelles?
Because 50% काम आफै गर्छ र 50% न्युक्लियसले गर्छ त्यसैले.
They can self-replicate. They have DNA in them. They can self-replicate, and simply half of the functions or half of the activities of mitochondria are controlled by themselves, and remaining half are controlled by the information from nucleus. So they are known as semi-autonomous. So, can you tell me the true example of semi-autonomous organelles?
Plastid and
Plastid and mitochondria. Okay, let's start plastids. So, what do you know about plastid? Plastids are found in animal cell. Am I right or wrong?
No, sir.
Yes.
Because
In plant
plastids
cell.
are not found in animal cell. They are found in plant cell. The types of plastids are chloroplast, and chromoplast. Simply, they arise from the minute protoplasmic bodies known as proplastid or euplast. So the functions of plastid is help in storage, to give colorful part to the plant, as well as to help in photosynthesis. So simply, we're going to make one table relations over here. There are three types of plastid. So we are going to write the types and simply color and simply main functions. It will be easy for you to remember. Plastid one is leucoplast. Leucoplast, simply they are colorless. They are colorless plastid. Simply the main function is to main function is attractions. Simply they attract insect during pollination process. Colorful part of flower, simply you can see flower is a colorful part of plant. Simply flower attract insect during pollinations, and flower have chloroplast in them, chromoplast, sorry, and final one is chloroplast. Simply this one is simply green in color. What is the main functions of chromoplast? Sorry, chloroplast. Can you tell me the main functions of chloroplast? That is photo
Green color.
synthesis.
Photosynthesis.
That is can help in photosynthesis. Okay. So can you tell me which one is green plastid from these definitions? Green plastid is chloroplast. Which one is colorless plastid? Leucoplast. Which one is colorful plastid? Chromoplast. Which plastid help in pollination? Can you tell me? Can you please say answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, আমাদের সাথে করে রাস্তায় ঠিক আছে our class is about to be over. You only go to the answer.
Yes.
यहाँ सम्म गर्छु ठीक छ र हामी प्लास्टिकको बारेमा फेरि भोलि पढौँला किनभने आज मेरो नेटवर्क त्यस्तै भयो है नेटवर्कमा खै प्रब्लम आयो मेरो ब्याट्री पनि सिद्धिन लागेको छ है ओके so that is all for today. Let's go to our attendance record पनि आज त कस्तो कस्तो आयो होला एड नेटवर्क भनेर